The fandom of One Punch Man is split in half right now. You have a bunch of content creators saying that it's One Frame Man, it's the worst experience they've ever had. And then you have the opposite saying that those people are nitpicky, it's not bad, it's pretty good, it's a step up from season 2. But these are 2 talking episodes and the real action is yet to come. So what is it? Are people jumping the gun on the criticism? Or is all this PNG, one frame, still shots, is their criticism valid and important? Like, who's actually right here? Where does One Punch Man Season 3 actually stand? Because the viewpoints among the fan base is completely split in half. First of all, I want to say that this discourse that the community is having right now, although everybody's kind of infighting over the season, this discourse has a healthy result. It's important that we talk about these things so that we can educate each other and learn the animation process so that we actually know what we're talking about and we can critique better, because critique, the entire point of it, is to help the creators. The more knowledge that we have, the better we can critique. But because anime creation is such a niche profession, most people really don't have an in-depth understanding behind the process. On the other hand, it's not fair to say people who don't understand the process are not allowed to criticize because, to be honest, they are probably the biggest consumer base. So actually, people who don't understand the animation process, if they are buying products, which is what keeps the property going, their input is more valid. If you have a fancy restaurant and people come in and order food, they're allowed to tell you if they think it's good or bad. They're a paying customer. And their input is very important even if they don't know anything about cooking and food, because they're your consumer base. You have to make the consumers happy. That's very important. And if you don't make the consumers happy, you don't have anything anymore. If you tell your paying customer who says that your food doesn't taste good, that they don't know anything about food, they're gonna leave, they're never gonna come back, and they're gonna tell all their friends not to come back either. So everybody's input, yes, is valid. But that's why at the same time, it's important for us content creators to explain the animation process as much as we possibly can. I've seen that people are getting more and more educated, and myself included, before I started YouTube, I knew literally nothing about animation. I didn't even really know how animation was made. And I think that's just very common because the process is not very entertaining. The end result is extremely entertaining, but watching the process is like watching paint dry. And most people don't have the attention span for that. There's too many distractions in this world, and they really just want to watch the end product and then give their thoughts. But around the time that Dragon Ball Super was airing on YouTube, a few content creators started to make videos talking about the actual animators. This kind of content actually exploded because fans were very curious and interested in learning about this whole subject that is highly ingrained in their favorite property. You see a certain scene go viral on social media, you learn who the animator is, and then when you learn that that animator is going to have a highlight cut on the next episode, you get crazy excited. And that starts branching you into more animators, and you start learning more about the process and supervisors, and then you start to like really fill in the entire process. And I think that for kind of like the collective consciousness of anime lovers on YouTube, people who like to talk about their favorite properties, we've all been like learning this fairly slowly over the last 5 to 8 years. Myself included. I'm not an expert, but I studied this industry a great deal because I thought I wanted to get into it. And kind of what I realized is this is one of the most brutal, underpaid, undervalued, underappreciated industry in the entire world. It's insane, actually, how much work it is to create such little footage and you get paid like basically nothing for it. And then on top of that, you get criticized endlessly for it. It's like the most underappreciated medium in the entire world because we all love animation. We love it. We're mesmerized by it. And we want all of our favorite shows to be perfect all the time. But unfortunately, that's very difficult to do. There are money constraints, there's talent restraints, scheduling can be a massive issue. It kind of seems like the planning and scheduling for One Punch Man Season 3 must have been really off because they announced it was coming out 3 years ago. But I'm hearing stuff now that JC staff only had 1 year to actually work on the whole season. That doesn't make any sense to me. Like, you don't need 2 years of planning just to give the production stage 1 year. That seems like ridiculous. And if that happened, if that's true, again, that's Bandai. And as I explained in my video when I was responding to Charlie, which, I might have got a little bit over passionate in that video, but all of my points still stand. The main issue here is Bandai being cheap. Everybody wants One Punch Man to be like season 1 again. And they probably could have gotten Mappa if they just wanted to fork over the money for it. But I'm sure that the investors decided we don't need to spend that kind of money on One Punch Man. It's going to be popular no matter what. Just creating any season will increase sales, which I think is a horrible mentality. But what are we and the rest of the world, like, what can we even do? See, the issue is that in Japan, like, they don't listen to us. Nintendo and Toei, Bandai, they very, very rarely, if ever, listen to the global community. Now, American companies will. You can pretty much cancel any company or any person in the whole world, except for Japanese companies. Like, the amount of horrible things that Nintendo and Toei has done to their own fan base for promoting their product, for helping them stay large, is disgusting, actually. Like, they punish their own fans. Yes, I know they're trying to protect their property and they can do whatever they want. And that's the mentality that Japan has. They really do not value our input. They value our money. And our money, in a sense, is our input. If people are not buying One Punch Man products after the launch of this season and they don't make their money back, that's what they'll hear. They're going to hear with their wallet, is what I'm trying to tell you. And maybe there's a potential here for the West to like do something to help these studios out. And I'm wondering, like, if the studios are paying their animators so little and they're really struggling, is it possible that us in the West could pool our money together to like become a production committee of our own? I mean, if you're talking about 12 episodes, it's $100,000 per episode. That's like $1.2 million. I feel like if we got all the West and we're like, hey, how much money do we need to pool together to get Toei to do the moral arc of Dragon Ball Super? Like, I'm wondering if they would actually listen to that. But I don't think they will, because you guys have to understand the Japanese culture. If you're an outsider, they really do not like to work with you. You usually have to be formally introduced. They won't respond to your emails. And so it's very difficult to get in touch with them. At that same point, they don't really hear us. They kind of just, block us out, and they look at the revenue. And if the revenue is going up, they're going to keep doing what they're doing. So in a sense, the criticism is justifiable, even if it is nitpicky and over exaggerating. It is kind of like important, because if people stop buying One Punch Man products, then the message is still getting through that Bandai has to do better. And I mean, I think it's really unfortunate that JC Staff is taking all of the hatred. I know that the director is like on his like lifeline right now. Like, the dude is about to croak. And I'm extremely concerned, actually, with all the hatred and the memeing and the trolling and stuff. Like, this guy has given it everything. This is like his last project. This guy is giving it everything his body can offer, and like, people just still aren't happy. I feel for the guy, and I don't think it's really his fault. Like, he is trying his best, which is what One Punch Man is about, right? It's about trying your best. But I think that the blame here really just belongs to Bandai being cheap. One Punch Man obviously deserves Mappa, Bones, Wit, A1, something like that. And I really don't think Bandai wanted to pay the money to hire a high-end studio. So in that sense, trolling and attacking this studio, I think, is awful. It's extremely disrespectful to people who are just trying their best to give you something that you love. But the issue is that Bandai doesn't really have a face that they can attack. You can blast Bandai all you want. They're not going to listen to you at all. And JC Staff, we can see that they're listening. And so when people see that you listen, they kind of go in even more, I feel like. And that's just extremely unfortunate. I mean, I really like, if the Japanese companies, it would be so amazing if they had one like YouTuber work for them that could literally convey their messaging and answer important questions that fans have. Like, but they just refuse. Like, they'll put out like a tiny press release on their website that doesn't explain anything. And there needs to be some sort of bridge between the consumers of the West, who have actually generated millions and millions and millions of revenue for anime coming from Japan through licensing services like Crunchyroll, like Netflix, etc. That has been huge business for the anime community. So you'd think that they will want to listen to us more, but it just, unfortunately, the culture in Japan, they really don't listen to the West. And we can cry and scream into the void all we want, but that's more so for us to educate each other. So that if you really feel like it's bad, if you really want to send the message unfortunately is just stop buying One Punch Man products. But I don't think you should, in my opinion. Like, I think that the criticism is justified. It's just exaggerated because it's kind of fun to hate on One Punch Man right now. But people were doing that, like, leading up to the season even coming out. I think they were just ready. Like, there was a huge group of people just ready to just take a dump on this property no matter how good it was. And also, negativity is content. Negative videos tend to get more views, but for the most part, it's their opinion and it's subjective. And you watch people for their opinion sometimes because you want to know if their opinion matches your opinion. You can't hate on people for giving their opinion. I just think that, like, exaggerating on purpose to be negative, to like hurt these people, is a bad idea. I mean, these people are literally hurting, and I mean physically, mentally, emotionally, and the director's blood will not be on my hands. If something happens to that guy, which I have some information that the public doesn't have. These are real people with real feelings, just like you. They see your content, they see your comments, and you are hurting people. If it's just criticism, they'll probably listen, but something about the anime community, man, you have a lot of trolls who are, people who are just trying to destroy others, and it's unhealthy. It doesn't help anyone. But the end result, and why all of this is important, is as a collective of anime enjoyers, we're trying to decide now, like, what is the proper etiquette? And so this discourse is important. I'm not always going to be right. I'm going to give my opinions too, and your opinions are valid as well. We're all just trying to figure out, like, what the truth actually is. So hopefully you guys will be, like, a little bit nicer to each other and to the One Punch Man staff. And I pray to God the next 10 episodes have a lot of action so people will stop trolling so much. But I just think that trolling gets a little unhealthy, at a certain point.